Master boasts a formidable assassination record, inspiring awe and fear. 5 years after the Second Great Flood, that monstrous figure returned. She was entrusted with a special mission to eliminate the Snail King, ruler of the Snail Kingdom in glamorous Shanghai. The Snail King fell, leaving behind a glorious chapter in history. In a life-or-death battle with the Snail King, Tonos, she achieved a legendary feat. Therefore, when I officially took on the task, I didn't accompany her from the beginning. The girls whispered amongst themselves. He's Sergeant Lee Hyanguk. It's definitely him and no one else. I heard you guys gossiping that he's very handsome. Sorry, I couldn't see the picture clearly at that time. Hyanguk replied shyly. So who's in charge here? She adjusted her clothes and spoke confidently. Well, it seems that currently, another female soldier rushed towards Sergeant Kim say, the armory is open. The young man declared boldly, I'll hold them off here. Everyone, quickly arm yourselves. The girl covered her mouth with her hand, her face skeptical. You can handle this. Alone, based on the current situation, probably. He looked down at the approaching horde of undead, his voice urgent. My magic energy isn't limitless. We can't hold out for long. Please hurry. A voice crackled over the radio. Corporal Park Junimo reported. The young man, having completed his task, reported quickly. As instructed, most of the soldiers at Barracks 1 are ready and have been evacuated. Good work, Junimo, he praised. Junimo added, and the platoon leader has been safely escorted to Barracks 2. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted on the distant horizon. The boy's eyes widened in astonishment, his jaw dropping in surprise. A majestic figure, weapon in hand, swept aside the skeletal remains blocking the path. Una landed gracefully, gliding past him. As soon as she saw his face, she recognized him as Hyanguk. The moment her feet touched the ground, she immediately questioned him about dealing with the skeletons there. He answered solemnly, everything has been taken care of. Kim Se-hee stood at attention and saluted her. Reporting. Sergeant Kim Se-hee reporting. The troops at Barracks 2 will soon be in a state of combat readiness. Under her intense gaze, he twitched his lips slightly. Her eyes were considering evacuation. Not just for Barracks 1, but even considering support for Barracks 2 as well. This guy has already handled everything, she thought to herself. Seeming to understand her thoughts, he avoided her gaze. Suddenly, the system issued a warning signal. A dark energy convergence point has been established in this area. Dark attribute stats are increased by 50%. Undead regeneration abilities are also increased by 50%. The number of monsters emerging from the gate has doubled. As soon as the announcement ended, the undead raised their faces to the sky and let out savage howls. Their eyes glowed blood red with a thirst for blood. Everyone was filled with panic and worry. Una was the first to speak up, asking, is this a nest? A nest is a special type of magical artifact. It has the ability to cast magical effects over a wide area. Gug Xiaomyang looked around thoughtfully. A nest, an item imbued with the evil magic of demons. I have to find it quickly, before anyone else discovers it. He reported seriously to the vampire. He wasn't acting alone before. She began to analyze the situation. I know, but I don't understand why they would use these skeletal monsters to attack here first. But this was definitely no random attack. It was a meticulously planned assault, harboring a deep, sinister motive. Immediately, the commander issued an order for all soldiers to prepare for battle and deploy defensive formations. The defense system must hold until reinforcements arrive. Without hesitation, 2 soldiers responded in unison. Yes, Commander. Unha approached, making a request to her friend, Hyanguk Lee. Come with me to the control room. Hyanguk's eyes widened in surprise. Me? Go with you. Meanwhile, in the secret control room deep underground, all the monitoring screens simultaneously lost signal, plunging into darkness. The control room door, sealed by a complex magic formation, violently vibrated. 2 guards, weapons at the ready, nervously spoke to each other. If they can breach a door protected by 2 layers of magical defense barriers, then we're dealing with an incredibly powerful enemy. That guy possesses strength on par with an orc. If he gets in here, fighting in such close quarters is incredibly dangerous. Li Gua, with a determined and serious expression, instructed the lieutenant. The moment the door bursts open and I give the signal, we take that guy down together. Manhwa exclaimed, but he tensed every muscle in his body. creating a small whirlwind around himself. He roared, "Lee Won-suk, are you crazy?" Gripping his axe tightly, he shouted, "If anyone breaks through this door, we won't stand a chance. Facing all of them will be incredibly difficult, but I will stop this guy, even if it costs me my life." As soon as he finished speaking, the door exploded into pieces. The intense pressure from the blast sent them both staggering. They quickly raised their arms to shield their heads. Chow Mok led the charge, bursting in and cursing incessantly. "You damn dogs. Did you really think you could hole up here and survive?" His eyes focused on the lowly soldier gripping an axe. "What in the world?" He looked up, assessing the colossal monster before him. "What kind of grotesque creature is this? He's many times larger than me. And I'm already a madman." An icy fear pierced his heart, but I can't back down. He poured all his strength into his arms, a look of astonishment on his face. "What the hell? Don't tell me you're planning to fight me." In an instant, a sharp axe swung directly at him. The lowly soldier charged recklessly. "No, I will finish you." Iwan-sok struggled to control his magic as he shouted to his comrade, "Private!" Iwan-sok crossed his arms and stood beside him, his voice instructive. "Don't release magic so haphazardly. You have to learn to control it." He scratched his head with a sheepish grin. "Magic is really hard to control." His eyes turned towards the menacing staff floating in midair. "If you keep smiling, you'll get a beating." He quickly recoiled. "Based on your current state of frantic agitation, that power will quickly weaken. Because you constantly lose control like this, then collapse in frustration, wallowing in your rage. You had your brother control the staff to attack him, while you just stood there like a fool. And just now, you even launched magic at me. You should really reflect on yourself. Both of you tirelessly train without rest." Private Lee Won-suk struggled to control his magic. Private Lee Won-suk collapsed to the ground, exhausted, gasping for breath. The last rays of sunlight filtered through the leaves as a voice called out, "Private Lee Hyong-jae, I have a question." He turned his head in confusion. "What is it?" He looked at him, his voice filled with worry. "If I had to face an enemy much stronger than myself, in a fight to the death, Sergeant, what should I do?" He replied with a short answer, making him sit up to hear clearly. "What are you waiting for?" Of course, in my mind, I thought a big guy like you sneaking around like that looks ridiculous. But out loud, I told you to run away, right? That would be true to your cowardly nature. Kwon-suk knelt, frantically waving his hands and stammering, No, it's not me. I'm not that kind of person." He gave him a sidelong glance. "If not, then what?" He heard a weak defense. No, that's not it." He punched him in the shoulder, as if to say, "Still arguing back?" He flinched and yelled, "Private Lee Won-suk, attention!" Then stopped running away and faced the enemy head-on. He listened in a daze, acting like a true soldier, and protect your comrades behind you. Then your teammates will fight alongside you and protect you. Currently, Kwon-suk gripped his axe tightly, lost in a whirlwind of anxious thoughts. "I'm scared, but I absolutely cannot back down." Go-mo put all his strength into his hands, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "What? Don't tell me you're actually planning to duel me?" He charged forward, swinging his axe menacingly close to his opponent, roaring in denial. "No, I will send you to your grave." Manhwa gritted her teeth, raising her hand to deploy her strategy. Lieutenant Yi Minhui, Linker, special ability, spatial distortion. A C-rank player yelled out, "Go, platoon leader." At that moment, Won-suk launched a series of attacks, forcing him back into the predetermined magic circle. Then, she used the power of the formation to push both of them out of the room. Go-mo stared in shock at the door slowly closing behind him. He furrowed his brow, a sinister grin spreading across his face. "What trickery is this? What are you doing?" He tensed his entire body, bracing himself. He exerted all his strength, causing the surrounding air to violently tremble. Muscles bulged and hardened like steel. His shirt ripped to shreds. Private Lee Won-suk, the Beast King Union's close combat specialist, possessed a D-rank ability, but his true strength was considered C-rank. He roared, "You see, this place is too cramped for a real fight." Chow Mok, his hands transformed into sharp claws, laughed heartily. "Oh, you're a fighter?" He squeezed his eyes shut and gritted his teeth, focusing his mind to control his magic. "This time I have to succeed. Please bless me." In a blink, his muscles expanded again, power surging like a flood. He gripped his weapon, exclaiming in triumph, "I did it!" The beast opposite him observed silently, thinking to himself, "Now, How long can I maintain this level 2 enhancement? His gaze became unusually determined. He charged forward with the ferocious momentum of a raging warrior, just as Sergeant Lee Hyun-guk had warned, just as he had instructed. He swung his battle axe with all his might, aiming to gain the upper hand against the enemy. The battle raged fiercely. Each strike was delivered with unwavering power and precision. An iron resolve burned within him. He had to protect those behind him at all costs. Under the cloak of darkness, a heavy iron door of a fortified bunker came into view. It lay deep underground, hidden amidst the shadows. The 3rd Monster Suppression Brigade, 1st Battalion, beneath the shelter. Unha and Hyun-guk gripped their weapons tightly, desperately fleeing, with beams of light hot on their heels. The young man sped up, glanced at the girl, and thought to himself, "We have to deal with the artifact first." But Seo Unha believed they needed to reach the control room. Suddenly, a massive explosion erupted in their path, forcing them to come to an abrupt halt. The young man raised his arms to shield his head from the blast of energy, groaning in pain. The thick smoke gradually cleared, revealing a horrifying scene. CA was choking Gunwook, his blood-soaked body standing frozen. Hyun-guk's eyes widened in terror. Unable to believe what was happening before him, he lunged forward, screaming, "Gunwook!" Hearing the familiar voice, Gunwook slightly opened his eyes, struggling to speak. "Sergeant Lee Hyun-guk, I told you, I'm not a coward. I won't run." Before Gunwook could finish, CA slammed his head against the floor. CA snarled, his face contorted in annoyance. "What are you babbling about? Shut up. Give me." His voice echoed through the cracked tunnel, filled with panic. Suddenly, his voice fell silent. Enraged, Unha raised her shield and yelled, "What are you doing?" The boy beside her calmly pleaded with the lieutenant. "I am sorry, but could you go to the control room first?" She seemed to understand his intention, but before she could speak, he interrupted her. "When you reach the control center, immediately order a search for the artifact. Then, quickly gather and allocate personnel to implement the action plan." The young man's eyes were cold, filled with killing intent. "As for me, I will eliminate this villain and then reunite with you later." The girl was astonished, her mouth agape, speechless. Song Mok suddenly noticed her and spoke up. "Oh, so it's the daughter of the Holy Knight Captain. I didn't want to cause a massacre to find you. Yet you came here on your own." Yuna agreed with the young man's words and added a cautious reminder. "As you said, we will go to the control room. You must survive, that's an order." Seeing her leave, he called after her. "Hey, where are you going?" Hyung-guk slowly confessed. Lee Won-sok never liked him. He's just a brute who only relies on strength." He looked confused. "Brother, what nonsense are you talking about?" The young man crushed the object in front of his chest, causing it to glow. "I know what you're trying to say. He risked his life fighting just because of something I said. So, if I have any conscience left, I have to risk everything to avenge him." System announcement. Item received. Rank 3 Magic Potion. Magic Potion provides concentrated magic power to the user, increasing magic efficiency by 100%. Warning, excessive use can cause damage to the body. Guk immediately launched an attack. Gomek scoffed mockingly. "Look at this idiot, charging in like a moth to a flame." As soon as he finished speaking, he was astonished to see him slip between his legs. Not missing the opportunity, he quickly regained his balance and turned. Just as he turned his head, a blinding light flashed before his eyes. Countless spikes pierced his body and flew straight towards him. He gritted his teeth, staggering with his heavily wounded body, unaware that his own weapon was silently turning against him. Yang Chao's spearhead was enveloped in a dark aura. He yelled, "Unlock!" The spear in his hand instantly swept across, creating a blinding flash of light. He furrowed his brow, staring intently at the iron pillar in deep thought. His hand gripped the spear tightly, struggling against his opponent's sturdy armor. Go-Mo, with his ability to shape-shift, easily seized his weapon, a smug look on his face. "Is that all your pathetic tricks amount to? You dare to dream with such meager skills?" He added a mocking kick, sending him sprawling. "You said you were seeking revenge." He preemptively used the diamond indestructible skill to minimize the damage. The powerful impact of the kick sent him flying backward. Yun-Su tried to slow his retreat with his hands, his eyes glancing to the side to assess the situation. His gaze fell upon Jun-Su, lying on the ground, barely breathing. Go-Mo teleported behind him and taunted. "What are you looking at?" He leaped into the air. Just before his fist could land, he quickly darted up the wall. Hyun-guk immediately looked up to observe his opponent. He was met with a figure with blood-red eyes, charging towards him with terrifying speed. He attacked while taunting in a contemptuous tone. Are you just going to keep dodging like a little mouse? He focused solely on dodging, effortlessly evading one attack after another. Go-mo became even more excited as the distance between them rapidly closed. Got you now. Hyun-guk curled up, his hands emitting a mysterious green light. Indestructible Vajra body. His fist was so powerful that it slammed Hyun-guk into the wall, shattering it. Hyun-guk winced and let out a soft groan. He stood outside the rubble, peering inside. Go-mo, in his grotesque and monstrous form, looked at Hyun-guk with disdain in his fiery red eyes. You think you can kill me with just a few holy power weapons? You talk about revenge, but this is all you can do? Laughable. A loud rumbling sound startled him. What's that sound? This place. Calm yourself and explain. You're right. A few ordinary weapons aren't enough to finish you off. That's why I brought you here. He stood amidst the space, clutching his wounded body, and announced, "This is the endless flow." All the weapons in the room began to vibrate, emitting strange, oscillating sounds. All of this belongs to you. This is a restricted area under the jurisdiction of the Anti-Magic Brigade, 3rd Battalion. A top-secret armory. A vague unease slowly crept over him. He gritted his teeth and repeatedly slapped his hand over his heart. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, but his eyes remained defiant. Fine, you and me. Let's see who dies first, you bastard. A brilliant golden magic circle appeared before the horde of undead. They charged forward frantically, pouring through the mysterious portal. But suddenly, one by one, they paused, looking around in confusion and anxiety. Manhwa, controlling the portal, urged everyone on. I've held back some of the monsters, but this is our absolute limit. We're running out of time. We have to act quickly. Do your best to protect the communication center. Restore the communication channel immediately. All hands prepare to fire, ready to launch the attack. All snipers are in position. He stood strong, holding up a barrier against the ferocious horde of zombies. But the immense energy drain left him screaming in agony. The magic circle weakened, becoming fragile, shattered by the relentless assault of the undead. Manhwa collapsed, exhausted. He saw them pouring into the room. A zombie raised its sword, ready to strike him down. He closed his eyes in despair, whispering a command. Fire! At that very moment, Una appeared, a sharp blade of energy cleaving the withered monster in two. She sheathed her sword, her voice filled with concern. Lieutenant Lee Manhwa report. Relief flooded his face. Lieutenant Seona. I'm all right. Skeletons burned fiercely in the raging flames. A voice broke the silence. We've eliminated all the skeletons. In the control room. It's done. The situation in this area is under control for now. Manhwa looked at her with gratitude in her eyes. Thank you. If they had captured the control room, we all would have died. Suddenly, a soldier reported to the platoon leader. We've established contact with the communication channel. We've connected with the 3rd Battalion. Hearing this, he urgently urged, quickly call for their help. The soldier suddenly froze. His eyes filled with despair, stammering. But they said a monster gate has appeared on their side, too. At the 3rd Battalion headquarters, a chaotic scene was unfolding. Ferocious monsters were relentlessly attacking, causing Manhwa and Unha to gasp in horror. What the? He immediately ordered to establish contact with the Blue Flower Society. However, the Blue Flower Society's headquarters had been overrun by a ferocious dragon horde. His subordinates could only stammer their report in despair. A spatial gate was opening right at their location. Anxiety overwhelmed him. He immediately ordered a connection to the 5th Battalion. Connect to the 6th Battalion now. But all he received was a single, grim message. All nearby units and guilds confirmed the appearance of spatial gates. They were appearing everywhere. The young man shot up in a panic. Everyone was calling for help from everywhere. Every location was turning into a living hell. They were both speechless with horror, unable to believe what was happening. Suddenly, the young man noticed a crucial detail and yelled, pulling the other two closer. This was the 12th emergency distress signal. Recognizing the caller, everyone snapped to attention. It was the loyal Major Kim Gang-sik. Sitting in the cockpit, he explained the situation. I'm on my way back to base, but will take a little while. Please understand. The helicopter raced forward at breakneck speed, slicing through the dark night air. His deep voice resonated from the comm screen, asking for a status update. Report. Yuna reported with a resolute tone, her voice filled with determination. Sir, multiple spatial gates are appearing simultaneously across various locations, causing severe chaos among the awakened and the enemy. She paused briefly before continuing. Furthermore, a majority of the commanders, including the commander-in-chief, have mysteriously vanished. Initial intel suggests they may have been assassinated. His voice turned colder. How the high-ranking CEOs responded. He pressed further. Is that all that's happening? Nothing else. Yuna nodded respectfully, offering a concise reply. Yes, sir. That is all for now. Each of his words carried an undercurrent of authority and pressure, making the atmosphere stifling. He questioned sternly, with 2 battalion commanders present. I want to know, what measures do you propose to address this emergency? Yuna's eyes widened, her lips pressed tightly together, seemingly unable to utter a word under the weight of his question. Just then, the video call screen became heavily distorted with static, the signal flickering erratically. Composing herself, she spoke boldly. Major, I have something to report. Get to the point, he replied curtly. Yuna stated her opinion frankly. My suggestion might seem unreasonable in our current situation, but I propose we give temporary command to Sergeant Hyong-guk. Manhwa retorted angrily. What in the world are you talking about? He crossed his arms and raised an eyebrow skeptically. I'd like to hear your reasoning. Didn't you agree earlier that we needed to be cautious and monitor Sergeant Yi's every move? Yes. Her eyes held a firm gaze. His unpredictable actions do warrant caution, sir. But so far, everything has gone rather smoothly. Hyong-guk was repeatedly patting his chest. System announcement. Item detected. Mana potion. Dang. Ba. Mana potion provides concentrated mana to the user. Mana, 100%. Caution advised. Abusing this power can cause serious damage to the user's body. Every weapon in the armory was covered in a mystical energy. The young man struggled to his feet and declared boldly, Ojiamak, I'm ready for you. The weapons here are incredibly diverse, all shapes and sizes. Remember, this is a restricted area, the base of the 3rd Anti-Monster Brigade, Armory Number 1. In his monstrous form, he seemed confused. How do you know my name? Despite the blood trickling down his lip, he defiantly challenged. Let's see who gets destroyed first, you or me. Come on, all of you at once. With that, he commanded all available weapons, preparing for the onslaught. They poured out from the cracks in the wall, aiming straight for Ojiamak. He didn't dare underestimate the threat, immediately activating his defenses. Endless swords and spears clashed against his tough armor, sending sparks flying. As one broke, another immediately took its place, relentlessly. Remaining magical energy, 87%. His crimson eyes flashed with mocking contempt. You fool, is that all? Is that all you've got? He advanced, each step radiating menacing pressure. I will reward your tireless efforts with a painless death. Gao Mu calmly stepped forward, ignoring the blades at his throat. Come on, show me everything you've got. Each of his steps landed with the weight of 1,000 mountains, his power unmatched. Even the mightiest weapons couldn't faze him. He gritted his teeth, swallowing the blood welling up in his throat. Channeling all his blue magic into his hands, he roared with an earth-shattering scream. Rah! And he succeeded, forcing him back. He pressed forward again, but cracks began to spiderweb across his mask. Unable to contain his excitement, he burst into laughter. Ha ha ha. Interesting. Keep going. More. Fools who think themselves strong often die pathetic deaths. Remaining magical energy, 38%. He suddenly appeared right in front of him. A divine punch descended from above. Song Mo, with a smug grin, taunted, just like your pathetic cronies. You think you're strong enough to face me? The sanctuary lay in ruins, unrecognizable, but as the dust settled, only Song Mo remained standing amidst the debris. A sharp spear tore through the air. With lightning speed, he appeared behind Song Mo. He pressed close, his eyes cold and dark, and asked, surprised bastard. The spear pierced effortlessly through Song Mo's chest. Through the fatal wound, he unleashed holy power, destroying Song Mo from within. After careful observation of Li Hyuk-gu's unusual achievements and suspicious behavior, his mana had previously been a mere 2%. Suddenly, a voice rang out. I suspected he was a member of a secret organization, aiming to destroy South Korea. Or was he a spy from another nation? He only stared back with furious, hate-filled eyes. You will die like the rest of those fools. The ones who thought themselves invincible. His body tensed, his life force drained away. Then he burst into ashes. But now I'm absolutely certain. My brother observed everything from beginning to end. He's not a spy. He rushed in before everyone else, risking his life to resolve this chaos. He bravely faced danger to restore order. Furthermore, from the Goblin Gate in Itaewon to the tragedy at Gaechin and the horrifying incident at Seoul Station, his weapons always appeared beside him mysteriously, as if prearranged. He's always at the center of every incident, holding the key to resolving every situation. The axe he placed on the back of the monster. Beyond sharp tactics, his strategy not only resolved the situation quickly, but also showed concern for saving those around him. The young man solemnly swore, his words firm and resolute. I sincerely apologize for not being able to protect everyone. Even if this place crumbles and falls apart, I will return and bring back everyone's remains. Finished speaking, he silently turned and left this place of sorrow. In this lifetime, I will never abandon my comrades and let them struggle alone in this world again. His ironclad oath echoed throughout the command room, stirring the hearts of all present. Carefully considering the current situation and past actions, I believe that Sergeant Lee Hyung-guk is the most suitable person for this responsibility. Kang, with a serious expression, pondered for a moment. Hung Ko is right. I fully agree with this proposal. Coincidentally, the person mentioned has just arrived. His return brought a collective sigh of relief from everyone. They all called out, Lee Hyung-guk, Sergeant Lee Hyung-guk. He quickly got straight to the point. We are giving you temporary command of the 3rd Monster Extermination Brigade. The battalion commander asked him sternly, does command authority extend to the armory? Are you capable of turning the tide of this dire situation? Veins bulged on the back of his hand, evidence of restrained power. Without hesitation, he immediately obeyed the order. Yes, sir. I will give it my all. It's time to counterattack. At the command, the soldiers opened fire in unison, unleashing a barrage of bullets at the screaming zombies. To Barracks 1, establish a defensive line. A voice boomed the order. Deploy the magic circles. Instantly, mystical magic circles appeared above the horde of zombies. The next command was issued. Fire. The 4 magic circles simultaneously unleashed deadly fire blasts, aimed directly at the bloodthirsty zombies. They were incinerated in an instant. The man who had just given the order showed a worried expression. Damn it. If this keeps up, then the situation will never end. The bloodthirsty zombies, armed with swords and shields, simultaneously break free from the magical barrier. They quickly flood into Barracks Sector 2. The magic circle tactic is also deployed here, as soldiers desperately fight them off. The zombies that escaped the magic's containment charge straight into the building. A horrified scream rings out amidst the fierce fighting. The 2nd floor? They've overrun the 2nd floor. Brave women are fighting valiantly against the ferocious zombies. When a voice rings out, full of command, retreat. Sihi slams a hand on one of their shoulders, ordering, get to the upper floor now. The young woman responds in a panicked sob, tears streaming down her face. We can't save the people on the 2nd floor. There are too many. She torments herself for being unable to save her comrades. The agony makes her slam her fist against the railing. Screams of terror mixed with the thunder of footsteps echoing down the stairs. We can't hold them back any longer. Suddenly, a figure wielding a sharp blade appeared. He swiftly cleared out the zombies surrounding the security post. Dojin coldly took down each zombie with a single, clean, and decisive move. The 2 soldiers who witnessed the scene gasped in awe. Sovin Shui, Xiangyun, are you alright? After eliminating the horde in that area, he collapsed, exhausted, onto his knees, gasping for breath. Do I look alright? Before he could rest, a new wave of zombies surged forward. They roared and lunged relentlessly. Dojin's eyes widened, his pupils constricting, his breath ragged, his brows furrowed. Because of the artifact, they've become harder to kill. They're breaking through. Dojin excitedly swung his blade forward. This is getting interesting. At Bomb Base, Central Command and Control, Hyung-guk's face was grim. The variant shoulder zombies have infiltrated they're not overwhelmingly powerful, but their numbers are at least 10,000 to 20,000 strong. He quickly assessed the situation. With these numbers, our initial strategy is doomed to fail. Lee Min-hee offered a suggestion. We have no choice but to establish a base in Busan and issue an evacuation order. He immediately objected. That's not feasible. We can't do that. He imagined the brutal scene of them, slaughtering innocent civilians, and voiced his reason. If we avoid them, those monsters will become a mobile death squad, spreading death everywhere. They'll have a clear strategy and be controlled by those who created the totem civilization. If the monsters descend upon Namsan, hundreds of thousands will die. He lost his composure and yelled, "So what are we supposed to do?" The brave brother spoke his mind. "We have to eliminate their leader. Everyone, quickly search for items. Split into small teams, and coordinate with the guards at each post." Manhwa turned, worry etched on her face. But what about those terrifying zombies? With a determined gaze and unwavering confidence, he laid out his plan. "We'll open the guard posts and lure the zombies into one central location." Min Hyan, stunned by the audacious plan, loudly protested. "Are you crazy? That's way too dangerous. If those bloodthirsty monsters gather in one place, we'll all be killed." The brother responded with composed pride. "No, Lieutenant. If you and I join forces, work together seamlessly, they'll be the ones who are annihilated." The young man, bewildered, pointed at himself with a skeptical look and stammered. "Me?" Choi Jianjin let out a gasp of surprise. "Why me? Why choose me? I refuse." He leaned against the gate, observing the slain zombies before him, then roared, "Find all those artifacts." How can I possibly search all of Namsan Mountain?" Hyunguk, with a stoic yet slightly exasperated expression, explained. "Don't worry about that. The team members have already pinpointed the location of each item for you." The two gate guards panicked and fled. As they saw a new wave of zombies approaching, they shouted, "Sergeant Choi Jianjin, they're breaking through again." Hyunguk gave a stern command. "I'm in command now. You will follow my orders." He widened his eyes and feigned innocence. "What? I didn't hear anything. Classified information, you know." A thought crossed his mind. "All right, I forgot about that idiot's personality." A sudden voice on the other end of the radio stunned him. A 21-year-old bottle of Valentine whiskey. June replied with his usual sly grin, 30. He breathed a sigh of relief, a slight smirk playing on his lips. Same as always. He never takes anything seriously. Suddenly, a secure message came through the radio. "Do you want me to go?" A voice filled with exasperation came from the radio. "All right, I've received the results." His face lit up with joy. "Understood. I'll head there right away." Yuna turned and walked towards the door, declaring resolutely, "Then I'll go to Zindus first as well." Hyunguk looked at her, asking for her support in leading the attack. "I'll see you later. In the meantime, please take care of my team members." She turned back, replying with a firm tone. "Don't worry, I don't want to lose any more of our soldiers." Under the silent veil of a vast, starlit sky, a lone drone took flight, its movements barely perceptible. The quiet air was shattered by the roar of its engine. From Central Command, a sharp order rang out. Soldiers bravely holding the line against the bloodthirsty horde. An urgent message is being transmitted. Cease attack. All personnel retreat immediately. Guns continued to blaze, unleashing a torrent of fire at the screaming zombies. As urgent commands echoed relentlessly, soldiers scrambled back towards a fortified bunker, seeking refuge. The commanding officer barked orders with unwavering authority. Mages reinforced the defensive perimeter immediately. Prepare for the next wave. "Where are the reinforcements?" a worried voice inquired. Inside the observation room, two soldiers intently monitored the situation, their voices tense as they reported. "Report. The horde has breached the defensive line. They're 200 meters from Barracks 2. Distance closing. 100 meters. Frantic shouts and urgent warnings fill the air. 50 meters. Scottish monsters and bloodthirsty zombies have arrived. They're surging towards the building like a furious tsunami. Terrifying roars mix with the chaotic sounds of pounding footsteps. Everyone quickly moves inside, seeking safety. Skilled mages are hastily deploying a protective magical barrier. The commander's authoritative voice cuts through the tense air. Prepare for the imminent attack. The monsters growl as they advance, their eyes glowing with a terrifying crimson light. Kim Se-hee stands above, observing the chaotic scene below. Thousands of zombies are screaming madly, surging forward like a storm. She can't help but wonder in astonishment. How can such a fragile magical barrier possibly hold back these ferocious monsters? Are they insane? Immediately, an order is relayed to her. Lieutenant Kim Se-hee, control the wind flow inside the barracks. Maintain a wind speed below 3 meters per second. This strange plan takes her completely by surprise. What in the world are they thinking? She exclaims in bewilderment. Meanwhile, at the 2nd Brigade, 2 people are carefully inspecting the magic. Monster Encirclement 3, Armory. The brothers begin to contemplate. The maximum spatial range I can control is only 90 meters. I've never considered linking separate spatial zones at a fixed point to increase accuracy. Manhwa focused intently, drawing a strange circle on the floor. This circle connected to an endpoint directly. Below the drone Ron was piloting 800 meters away. He frowned and thought. The ability to link and reconstruct space like this is extraordinary, not something just any AI can achieve. The drone has reached its maximum communication altitude of 1 kilometer. The order was given, maintain the drone's current position. He reviewed the report from the squad leader. The spatial zone has been expanded to its limit. Huang Kwok utilized his special ability, placing his sword in the center of the circle. He confidently launched the first shot. From afar, Karen watched in horror as a blinding light descended from the sky. Stunned, he froze, his eyes fixed on the spectacle. The sharp blade sliced through the air, piercing straight into the horde of grotesque zombies. The area pierced by the blade instantly exploded, completely obliterating everything within the blast radius. From the mountaintop, soldiers observing the battlefield quickly reported the situation. The first shot was a direct hit. They watched intently, reminding Sergeant E. Hyuk cannot afford to make a mistake. The young man, suppressing intense pain, gritted his teeth and crushed the item in his hand. Instantly, the item's core emitted a blinding crimson light, scattering countless fragments. The system immediately displayed the item's information. Item name, Mana Potion. Rank 3. Mana Potion is used to replenish magical energy, providing 100% concentrated mana to the user. Warning, overuse of this item can cause serious damage to the user's body. Hyuk focused all his strength, his gaze resolute and determined. Let's begin. This time, he unleashed his full power, executing a devastating rain of swords technique. Thousands of sharp swords erupted from the magic circle, hurtling through the air towards the zombie horde. Not a single zombie could escape the deadly sword rain. The raid team turned, witnessing the earth-shattering spectacle before them, their faces filled with awe. She and the commander from moments ago were both wide-eyed with astonishment at the scene that just unfolded. Hyun-guk poured all his mental strength into this attack. He thought to himself, I'm Karen's commander now, standing from afar. He witnessed the rain of swords cascading down like a waterfall, along with the steely resolve etched deep within the young boy's subconscious. I won't let any AI be sacrificed in this battle. Ah's eyes widened, his face dazed. It's unbelievable. Manhwa furrowed her brows, worriedly looking towards him. Blood was gushing from his nose and mouth, the consequence of using excessive energy, surpassing his limits. But to him, no one else will fall because of me. Before him, countless skeletons lay scattered, covering the ground. A voice echoed. A report from Command Central. Seo-hee excitedly exclaimed her praise. He's so reckless. Facing the surviving monsters, the order was given. Evacuate the wounded and eliminate all the monsters. The commander barked out orders. Evacuate immediately. Prioritize the wounded and eliminate all remaining monsters. The teammates, busy rescuing others, were stunned. Is Lee Hyung-guk that strong? Dojin stood on the mountainside, a look of disbelief on his face. We're an A-rank squad, but none of us had any idea. Unha calmly replied. I don't think rank can explain that kind of power. His jaw dropped. What? Meanwhile, Min-yoon was struggling to maintain his energy, silently analyzing the situation. He used acceleration from above and converted it into a wide-range attack beyond even A-rank. He spoke seriously about Lee Hyung-guk. That guy is not to be trifled with. Suddenly, Lee Hyung-guk collapsed. Min-yoon asked with concern, Lee Hyung-guk, are you all right? Ignoring the question, Lee Hyung-guk spoke. Captain, the battle isn't over yet. You need to focus all your energy on maintaining the spatial transfer zone. The portal is about to collapse. Min Hyo anxiously gripped Woo-yeon's wrist. I'm almost at my limit too. I can't hold on much longer. Just try a little longer, just a little bit more. Oh my goodness. Karen is over there biting his nails nervously. Dong-ha suddenly appeared and reported the situation. Captain Oh Kang-moo has arrived at the command center, but there's no response from inside. The monsters have been almost completely eliminated. Dongha continued to inquire. Should we wait until the spatial gate opens? The commander yelled in frustration. Shut up. Let me think, damn it. Recalling the massive iron spikes that rained down from above, she analyzed the situation. This is definitely not the Mountain King's power. Neither the reserve sword saint nor the two holy knights could do this. We have absolutely no information on him. A wide-area attack with such terrifying power. She frowned, proposing a terrifying hypothesis. Could he be a high-ranking army commander? Suddenly, Dongha spoke with a menacing tone. His sharp gaze swept around, seeming to sense a scout nearby. He tilted his head, glancing towards Jiangjin. Hidden behind a tree, Jiangjin flinched when she was noticed. The moment he finished speaking, Dongha transformed into a wisp of smoke. I have some questions for him. Bring him to me immediately. Sensing danger, Yun immediately ran. He sprinted away, grabbing the walkie-talkie as he went. Dongha pursued him relentlessly, like death itself. Yun frantically reported into the walkie-talkie. Enemy sighted. Location BBA-9. Enemy sighted. Location BBA-9. Hyunguk and Junjun both widened their eyes in shock at the report. Unha and the other soldiers held their breath in extreme tension. Yun continued, his voice dripping with sweat. They almost got me. I don't think I can escape them, Dong. Dongha caught up and lunged, clamping a hand over his mouth. The walkie-talkie slipped from Yun's grasp and fell to the ground. On the other end, Hyunguk yelled in panic. Kim Gyeonggin. Command Central immediately dispatched a drone to the scene. The unmanned aerial vehicle was deployed instantly and moved with breakneck speed. Unha, sword in hand, urged Choi Jong-in, hurry. He replied with a stern expression, providing immediate support. Then, he sprang up with incredible speed and vanished in a flash. From above, Karen observed the entire situation. She raised her hand in a signal and muttered, "It seems there's more than one." Unha's squad regrouped, protecting each other. She gave a sharp command. Our position has been compromised. Switch to defensive formation. As she looked up, she and the armored demon locked eyes. The armored demon swiftly raised its sword. Look out, Unha warned. A soldier quickly raised their shield to block the attack from the ferocious armored demon. The shield glowed brightly, guided by the AI. Enemy detected, deploying defensive shield. But with one fatal blow, the shield was completely destroyed. Left side. Minnie took the full brunt of the attack and screamed in pain. Una stumbled, nearly collapsing under the force of the Gap Ma's powerful swing. She gritted her teeth, struggling to withstand the immense weight. But a deep wound had appeared on her shoulder unnoticed. A fierce light suddenly flashed in Una's eyes. An explosive burst of energy sent both the blade and the monster's massive body flying. She urgently warned her teammates, "Keep your distance. That's a Gap Ma. If any part of your body comes into contact with it, it will instantly necrotize." Her teammates quickly pulled Minnie back to a safe distance. They asked with concern, "Sergeant Minty, are you all right?" Minty clutched her shoulder, grimacing as she replied, "I think my shoulder is dislocated." A terrified scream pierced the air. "They're coming. More and more of them." Countless Gapma roared as they advanced, surrounding the group. Faced with the terrifying roars, panic was evident on everyone's faces. "Lieutenant, what do we do?" Suddenly, una radiated brilliant light. Her voice boomed with authority. "Everyone, get behind me." Enormous wings suddenly unfurled from the shield, a blinding light radiating from them, engulfing a vast area. A brilliant golden cage, formed by the wings, enveloped them all. The completed cage formed an impenetrable defensive wall, halting the advance of the ferocious armored demons. Any armored demon foolish enough to approach was met with a searing heat that scorched them to smoke. Not a single monster could get near Unha's group. She slammed the shield into the ground, unleashing the sanctuary technique. For the next 7 minutes, Unha declared, "Everyone will receive the grace and protection of sanctuary. If you have the chance, escape quickly and focus on hunting down the primordials." A subordinate protested. "But how can you face them alone? Just one primordial requires an entire platoon to handle. Will you be all right by yourself?" She smiled confidently. "More than enough," she replied, launching herself into the air. Unha swiftly landed on the shoulder of a colossal armored demon. Her sword blazed with the brilliant golden light of holy radiance. Unha plunged the sword into the monster's mouth. The warrior's hands tightened around the hilt of his sword, then swung it in a powerful arc, decapitating the monster and sending its body exploding into pieces. But another monster seized the opportunity, lunging at him. Without hesitation, the warrior slashed downwards, his blade slicing through his comrade. But she reacted swiftly, leaping high to evade the fatal blow. Using the momentum of her jump, she plunged her sword deep into the shoulder of another armored demon. She gritted her teeth as holy light erupted from a blade. The soldiers below murmured in astonishment. "Do holy knights always fight like that?" Jummo replied, "I don't know about the others, but..." He continued, awestruck, "Now I understand why they call Lieutenant Seo a maniac." With each swing of her sword, Unha successfully destroyed the armored demon's arm. She suddenly froze, staring at her sword. "What's this?" The holy light, it suddenly vanished. When Unha snapped back to reality, she was about to impale herself on the monster's massive blade. Unha quickly planted her hand on the ground and flipped backwards, rolling across the ground before crashing into the rock wall from sheer force. The soldiers panicked as they witnessed the massive hole in the ceiling of the sanctuary slowly disappearing. On the other side, Unha gritted her teeth, struggling to hold back the enormous sword. A red alert suddenly blared, signaling that Gregory's curse, Azazel, was spreading rapidly. All holy power in the area was neutralized. Gregory was an organization of fallen angels, and Azazel was their supreme leader. The relic used by Azazel was a treasure, capable of resisting holy power. Carol hovered in midair, continuously emitting a stream of toxic green gas. Unha's eyes widened in surprise. Then she spoke sternly. "I finally get to witness the arrogant face of a holy knight." Jun Byong zipped through the trees, running straight ahead without stopping until he saw his target. He let out a proud smirk. "Found you." Zhanga swung his fiery sword, aiming straight for Jiangjin's arm. With ease, he severed Jiangjin's hand. But the hand vanished into thin air, leaving Jiangjin without support. He plummeted, caught instantly by Dojin. Zhanga transformed into black smoke and escaped. Dojin narrowed his eyes, carefully observing the dissipating smoke. "TSK. Seems like I can't cut through this." Suddenly, he sensed something amiss from the dense trees. "Trying to hide there?" Dojin suddenly cradled Jiangjin's face and cried out in anguish. "All right, Kim Jiangjin, are you all right? Hey, open your eyes. If you die, Lee Hyunguk won't give me any more whiskey." Zhanga's hand morphed into a sharp spike, thrusting towards them. Dojin swiftly dodged, shielding Jiangjin. He scoffed, mockingly too slow. Dojin then leaped back, creating a safe distance. But Zhanga caught up, attempting to stab him in the back. His eyes narrowed, a flicker of surprise in them as he realized the man was actually keeping up with his speed. Dojin quickly twisted his body to evade, but the sharp blade still grazed his waist. Immediately after, Wang Yangjin landed safely on the ground. Dong Hyuk exclaimed, his voice strained. "So, Jamie is the Sword Saint candidate? With your incredible speed and reflexes, shielding your comrades from danger." He observed a thoughtful frown on his face. He mused. "I can understand why the previous infiltration team was so utterly defeated. However, all of that is useless against me, because I am invincible, impervious to any ordinary blade." Observing the wound on Dojin's waist now stopped bleeding, Zhongyan casually admitted, "Killing you would truly be a waste." He then extended his hand, offering a tempting invitation. "Join us," he tempted, painting a picture of global carnage. "Imagine the world bathed in blood. If you embrace the power of the vampires, you could stand at the pinnacle of power, ruling over this entire world." Suddenly, his eyes widened as if realizing something crucial. His sharp fingernails slowly curled. "You could become a chosen one, just like me." Dojin roared in anger. "Ridiculous! What nonsense are you spouting?" "Stop spouting nonsense. And how you plan to compensate me for my grade A uniform?" Silence suddenly fell over the space. Above Dongha's head, 3 words clearly appeared. "Are you stupid?" A torrent of water erupted from his hand as he spoke. "It seems mere words aren't enough for you to understand." From the Aran River swamps, a surge of murky, purple water engulfed them both. "What is Jonghun planning?" The ground softened into mush. Jiangjin remained unconscious, prompting him to yell, "Hey, wake up! You're sinking." Dongha chimed in, "Your feet are stuck now. The more you struggle, the faster you'll sink." Johnson frowned and muttered, "What should I do with him now? It's hard to fight while worrying about him." He silently decided, "Once he wakes up, I'll definitely give him a..." He appeared suddenly, right behind him. "Are those your last words?" The raging current trapped Johnson's legs, immobilizing him. Protecting Jiangjun had left him, with a deep gash on his arm. Switching the short sword to his other hand, he gritted his teeth and raised his blade. A flash of steel, and Dongyan's arm was severed once more. But he quickly changed tactics, attacking Dongyan from behind. I told you, stabbing me like that is useless. Dojin leaned back slightly as the sharp blade grazed his shoulder. Then, a breathtaking sword fight ensued, both moving with blinding speed. He received another wound, this time on his right shoulder. Dongyan scoffed, his voice dripping with scorn. Shameful for a supposed sword saint candidate. You left yourself completely unguarded. As he moved to disappear like smoke, he suddenly spoke, interrupting his opponent's train of thought. Hold on. Are you going to continue these cowardly attacks from behind? He spread his arms wide in a dramatic gesture, declaring, a wound in the back is the greatest shame for a swordsman. I will face it head on. Come, duel me. The atmosphere grew thick with tension. Dongha thought to himself, he really is a fool. He grimaced, his annoyance clear. I can't believe I actually offered you a place in our ranks. It's a shame Jiangjun is about to be swallowed by the flood. Dujun calmly replied, indeed. A mocking smirk followed. But now, that swamp won't be able to swallow us. Thanks for falling for the trap. Too easy. You fool. Ha Chao looked on in disbelief. Your trickery ends here. Unfortunately for you, you're dealing with me now. Enough of this charade. Drop the innocent act. Have you ever felt the sting of a blade moving at the speed of light? His face creased with a few more wrinkles as he let out a long sigh. I'm growing tired of playing games with you. He impatiently pointed his razor-sharp sword at Zhang Han. I don't need a lunatic like you as a comrade. Zhang Han remained calm, a smile playing on his lips, showing no fear. Time seemed to freeze as his entire body erupted in a brilliant golden light. He lunged towards Dongha, who stood frozen like a stone statue, with terrifying speed. His knees rose above the water's surface, then his entire body sprang up. Zhang Han launched himself forward. A flash of his sword grazed Dongha's arm. For the third time, the sharp blade severed his arm. But this time, the sword light flashed again, zigzagging in multiple strikes from top to bottom like lightning. Finally, the tip of the sword pointed directly into Dongha's gaping mouth. Zhang Han's eyes hardened with a murderous intent. The leaves hanging suspended in midair suddenly rustled and fell. The moment time resumed its flow, Dongha's body was ripped into countless pieces. The explosion was so devastating that smoke and dust billowed high into the sky. Only after everything gradually settled did Jiangjun stand firmly on the ground. He observed the short sword in his hand, thoughtfully assessing it. I used a sword blessed by the divine, so it should inflict greater damage upon you. But it seems that wasn't enough to finish you off. Perhaps I must completely annihilate your true form. Covered in blood, Dongha roared in indignation. You crazy bastard! This is ridiculous. How could you do this to me? This is cheating. I won't accept this. Jiangjun bared his teeth in a sarcastic sneer. Cruel, how dare you speak to me that way? Now I see you're nothing special. All you can do now is lie down and die. Against my speed of light, you are powerless. It's not surprising that you dodged that attack. His eyes flashed with shock and hatred as he cursed under his breath. You bastard! Dojin's hand tightened around his sword, which suddenly glowed brightly. Let me silence you permanently. Dojin swung his sword, unleashing a flurry of sharp attacks that sliced through the air. Dongyan's entire body was sliced into countless pieces by brilliant golden rays of light. Finally, he dissolved into crimson fragments that faded into the air. Exhausted, Dojin collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. Dumb, I am Stadovin. If I push phase shift that far again, I'll definitely die here. Karen hovered in midair, radiating a strange green aura. A sudden warning appeared. The curse of Grigori Azazel is nullifying holy power in this entire area. Grigori is a fallen angel organization led by Azazel. This organization's sacred relic is being used by Azazel to counteract holy power. He grinned excitedly. How interesting. I'm curious to see the face of a paladin when confronted with death. The colossal figure in spectral armor raised its massive, razor-sharp greatsword. Una instantly raised her sword to block. Just as the giant swung, a volley of emerald green projectiles suddenly shot forward, causing the giant to stumble, its blade slashing harmlessly into the ground. A figure leaped down from a shimmering portal. It was Hyunguk, His momentum carried him forward, sliding across the ground. Karen raised an eyebrow at Una, then his eyes widened in surprise. The other soldiers were also stunned by his sudden appearance. Coming to a stop, he bent down and asked in a low, menacing voice, "Where is the soldier you're chasing?" Karen thought furiously. Who the hell is this guy? Hyun-guk gritted his teeth. The image of his fallen comrades flashed through his mind. His eyes blazed with fury as he roared. Where are they? Where are my comrades? Meanwhile, a legion of colossal figures in spectral armor marched towards the sanctuary. They were protecting the soldiers behind them. Karen scoffed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. It seems you still haven't grasped the severity of your situation. Instead of worrying about them, you should be more concerned with those standing before you. Who knows when their lives will be forfeit? Pristine white feathers emitted a mystical energy, forming a protective barrier around the group of soldiers. Hyun-guk frowned, his sharp gaze fixed on the target, but the monsters raised their hands. A volley of sharp, emerald green spikes shot forward, piercing their bodies, making them scream in agony. Uma, counterattack, quickly, Hyun-guk urged the platoon leader. I know. She immediately lunged, thrusting her sword towards the monster's face. However, its companion quickly raised a massive greatsword, slashing down at the golden cage, imprisoning its comrade. But before it could succeed, a terrifying force from Shin's armor erupted, sending him flying. Not stopping there, Shin grabbed his shoulder, while the emerald spear continued to pierce the remaining monster. A caption suddenly appeared, an overwhelming power surpassing ordinary magic. Death magic has been fully activated, completely controlling the magic armor. A new control skill called fortification. The brothers abruptly looked up. A subjugation skill. System update notification. When new control skill is activated, the current subjugation skill will be replaced by the new ability. Master fortification will directly affect the regular bioarmor, making it more resilient. Do you wish to maintain this fortification ability to increase the defensive power of the bioarmor? The young man immediately made his decision. I accept. The demonic armor under attack suddenly erupted with a thick crimson aura. Event triggered. You have used the master fortification skill on the bioarmor. Warning, depending on the level of your subjugation skill, the bioarmor may have a limited area of effect or control capabilities. The aura around him shifted to a vibrant blue. With a single decisive strike, he took his comrade's head. Everyone was stunned, their eyes wide with horror at the gruesome scene. Even Carol gasped, her eyes widening in shock. After observing for a while, I finally realize you're the one who ruined my fun. He retorted angrily, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Fun? Where? If you don't want me to break off those horns of yours, she snarled, her teeth grinding, a green aura flaring around him as he said, then give me back my comrade. Unbeknownst to anyone, Yinha had been injured in the leg. The spectral armor rose once more, forcing her to immediately switch to a defensive stance. Carol closed her eyes, covered her mouth, and sighed. What's wrong? Is that all you've got? Such a grand entrance, yet you disappoint me. Hyuk frowned and glanced over. It's not over yet. A flash of green light streaked across the forest. On the other side, the spectral armor roared and charged forward. The vital armor raised its sword, shielding the soldiers behind it. Karen's sarcastic voice rang out. That wide-range attack was quite impressive, so I'm eager to see what you'll do next. But all you can do is steal spectral armor and just child's play. He looked up, a sneer twisting his lips. You can't even use holy power with those two pathetic demonic armors. What makes you think you could do anything to me? A sudden green light flashed from behind the trees. Guk instantly knew his chance had come. He lowered his head and said in a low voice, You're right. Right now, I can't do anything to you. Carol smiled, arrogant and smug. But a blue spear suddenly shot towards her, making her jump in shock. He raised two fingers and snapped them lightly. But I can turn the tables. Information about Cheston's sacred bow appeared. Effect: enemy tracking, never misses, pierces all magical resistance. Karen fell to the ground, dodging the sharp blue arrow. She quickly turned and ran. The effects of the Gregory Azazel curse were fading. The power sealing the holy power was weakening. Una gasped in astonishment as the sword suddenly began to glow. My divine power, it has returned. Hyuk-gu stomped his foot and commanded the lieutenant, Take care of the remaining armored ghouls. The rest of you, Hunt down and eliminate the progenitor as quickly as possible. The soldiers responded in unison. Yes, sir. Hold on, Una interrupted, stopping Hyuk-gu, who was about to leave with Choi Jan-juni. He protested. Kim Kyungjin's life depends on this battle. We don't have time to waste. With that, he shot forward. The arrow ripped through the air, past the trees, leaving faint green trails in its wake. Karen ran, glancing back with a thoughtful expression. What was that? Could it be that wasn't just an ordinary arrow? No way. Was that the sacred bow? Hyuk-gu soared through the air like the wind. He gritted his teeth, thinking to himself. The iron sword, the arrow flashing in the deep forest. That's right. Hyuk-gu summoned a glowing red. Karen panicked as the sharp arrow hurtled towards her with terrifying speed. She gritted her teeth, watching as the arrow nearly pierced her body. At the very moment the arrow pierced the badge on her chest, a tremendous surge of energy erupted violently from behind Karen. Hyun-guk, with his spear raised high in a ready stance, launched a powerful counterattack. Give me back my comrade. She hunched down, seemingly anticipating the incoming attack. The blade lunged forward, but was instantly engulfed in a swirling red aura. A sudden flame ignited before Karen's chest as she groaned. Now I'm not just merely inconvenienced. The two sharp horns on her head extended, becoming larger and more formidable. Hyun-guk frowned at the terrifying sight. Karen, completely unharmed, gripped his arrow tightly. Is that all? She roared furiously. I hate this. I can't believe I have to reveal my true form to a mere insect like you. A surge of crimson energy shot towards Hyun-guk's back. He silently channeled the diamond indestructible body technique and sent flying back. Carol gasped in horror as she saw the crack on the badge. I can't believe I have to play along with such an obvious trap, she said, her voice sharp and laced with annoyance. Just because of some fool who doesn't know how to use a sacred bow. The brother coughed up blood, lying sprawled on the ground. Carol pressed on, unrelenting in her question. You and the commander, the one who launched that attack with all those spells, that wide-scale assault, are you really the same person? The young man pushed himself up. Does it matter if you tell me where my comrades are? I'll tell you. A magic circle suddenly appeared, accompanied by Carol's sarcastic tone. Oh, it matters a great deal. I can't leave until I see the despair on the face of the one who destroyed. This was all part of my plan. The brothers were frozen in terror before this horrifying scene. Suddenly, blood-red spiderwebs erupted from the ground, spreading everywhere. They grew larger and larger as the grotesque matrix expanded. He gritted his teeth, anxiously speculating. This web encompasses the entire area outside the battle zone. Could it be this entire region? Wait, she just said plan, didn't she? That means they were plotting this from the very beginning. What are they trying to do? Elsewhere. At the command center, the terrifying red webs had also invaded. Everyone inside was brutally murdered and ensnared within the web. Then, the silken threads contracted, pulling their bodies upright like lifeless puppets. As those soulless heads lifted, they transformed into bloodthirsty vampires. Back on the battlefield, Carrion spoke calmly in a chilling tone. You will soon be reunited with the one you seek. Even in the shelter, the webs had infiltrated. The wretches had been defeated and lay scattered on the ground. Suddenly, Hyun-guk seemed to realize something and exclaimed, could it be? Karen smirked, a mocking smile playing on his lips. Because my underlings slaughtered them without mercy. Without a doubt. You don't look so happy. You bastard, are you screaming with that twisted face? Stop it. Junseo opened his bloodshot eyes in a furious response. What's wrong? Do you cherish your comrades that much? Then finish them off yourself again. Andre's group smashed the windows of the control room and rushed out. The moment they hit the ground, they growled ferociously. Then, the whole group leaped high towards the giant matrix. At the entrance to Bonk, the defending forces were under constant, heavy attack. Everyone was in a state of sheer panic. Undead, be careful of the corpses around us. If we don't handle them carefully, we'll be attacked. A soldier jumped back in terror, as if seeing something. What is that? Wait, could be. Observing the blood-soaked man, he wondered, Lee Won-sook? Immediately after, he shot up towards a mountain peak. On this side, the spear-wielding brother unleashed a dark energy, releasing the seal. Karen easily dodged the attack and mocked his opponent. Is that all you've got? The young man gripped his spear, and charged forward with all his might. But suddenly, a giant web descended from the sky, ensnaring him. Caught in a precarious situation, the brother used his legs to brace himself, desperately clinging to life. Unfortunately, a sharp, crimson thread sliced across his waist, inflicting a deep wound. Carol spoke leisurely, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Why so angry? The people you long for day and night are about to appear. Try your best not to die before you see them again. Il-Bai raised his hand. I'm really curious to see the look of despair on your face when you reunite with your comrades as grotesque, undead, hideous, walking corpses. The brother gritted his teeth in utter fury. Damn, this situation is more dire than I thought. He noticed the cracked insignia on her. I've broken Gregory's curse. Azazel has granted me the holy bow, so I can use holy power once more. But a red alert suddenly flashed. An emergency announcement blared. A demonic gathering zone has appeared. Dark attribute stats have significantly increased by 50%. Andy's healing ability is also amplified by 50%. The number of monsters pouring out from the gate has doubled, reaching 100%. He frowned and thought, the artifact is still active. It's what's amplifying her powers. So even using holy power would just be a waste of mana. Then, there's only one way. Karen's eyes widened in surprise. The item information for Mana Potion appeared. Rank 3. Upon use, replenishes the user's mana. Concentrated mana density reaches a maximum of 100%. Warning, overuse can cause negative effects on a user's body. Brother Gook crushed the potion bottle, stating clearly, let me make this clear to you. You're the one who crossed the line first. Another item appeared. Crown of Light and Shadow. Possesses the ability to significantly increase resistance against undead. Special attribute. Grants aura attribute to one holy power or dark magic equipment. Each aura level increase came with a corresponding penalty. A mysterious purple ring appeared above his head. A life for a life. Blood for blood rule. The young man declared resolutely. Then I will risk it all to break through this limit. Skill information appeared as he chose the Dark Aura. Effect. Increases the power of dark magic by 30% within a certain radius. Penalty. Health reduced by 30%. The spear erupted with intense purple energy. I'll fight poison with poison, he declared with determination. Furthermore, the young man received the Buddha's palm. Due to the influence of this strange land, his dark aura advanced at a breakneck pace. Kioriel witnessed everything with astonishment. What's happening? Where is this terrifying dark energy coming from? His eyes tinged with magic. He roared, prepare yourself. I will devour your dark energy. With an even stronger dark energy, the sudden burst of energy easily blew away the fragile spiderwebs. Witnessing this, Carol furrowed her brows, astonishment evident on her face. As he exerted more power, his arm gradually changed color, revealing an indestructible Vajra body as hard as steel. He then gritted his teeth, gripping the spear shaft tightly, and swung it forward with terrifying force. A slash imbued with surging dark energy hurtled towards Carol. She had to leap back to dodge, terror in her eyes, unable to believe what she was seeing. He can actually generate dark attributes to use the artifact. Is that guy crazy? Hyun-guk couldn't help but exclaim in admiration as he watched. Finally, it's having some effect. If I keep pressuring her like this. But suddenly, the image before him blurred, accompanied by a terrifying warning. The dark energy source has reached the user's limit. The user is entering a state of berserk frenzy. Darkness spread around him, threatening to engulf him in an abyss. Berserk. See, why now of all times? This artifact is far more powerful than I imagined. A drop of water fell onto the still surface of the lake, causing ripples to spread across the water, mirroring his thoughts. I have to get out of here. Now, I need to escape, but to somewhere safe. John June looked up, a bewildered expression on his face. What the hell is this? Suddenly, he realized something. A long line of Andys appeared before his eyes, making him exclaim, Lieutenant, the other lieutenants too? Watching the group frantically summoning their power, June muttered, They took them all down already? His eyes narrowed in thought as Hung gently placed Jyeongjin on the ground. Rest here for a bit. Damn it, I hate doing this kind of thing the most. Frowning, he raised his short sword. I've been respectful to the commander because of his good liquor, but it seems I have no choice but to step in to protect her. With that, he lunged towards the undead. John June roared resolutely. I'm sorry. Rest in peace. Return to the living world. Carol nimbly dodged Hyun-guk's ferocious attacks. She had to use all her speed to avoid the sharp, dark magic spear. Finally, a fatal blow landed, making Carol cry out in pain. Immediately after, she spread her wings and soared into the air. Completely losing control in his rage, John June screamed, I will kill you. He frantically shot out dense webs. You can't even control yourself, Carol taunted. After being consumed by dark energy, you think you could defeat me? Hyun-guk easily tore the red threads apart with his bare hands. He raised his spear, aiming it directly at Carol. You crazy bastard, Carol exclaimed furiously. He swung his spear with terrifying force, forcing Carol to dodge narrowly. At that moment, Gwon-suk descended from the sky. The giant axe collided violently with John June's spear, creating a shocking explosion. Thick smoke and dust billowed up. In his frenzy, he put all his strength into pressing down, but he was effortlessly lifted into the air. Then his head was brutally slammed into the head of the orc soldier. Karen delivered his cold judgment. Watching you makes me sick. I will send you and your comrades to hell. Deadly spider webs shot straight toward the two of them. Hyun-guk nimbly leaped up and seized the opportunity to shatter the orc soldier's axe into pieces. His hands, hard as steel, tightened around the soldier's throat. A terrifying dark energy emanated, enveloping the unfortunate orc. Suddenly, Hyun-guk awoke amidst the chaotic turmoil in his mind. What the hell am I doing? He wondered. I have to regain my senses and get out of here immediately. Calm down. Eunha's cries for help echoed relentlessly in Hyun-guk's ears. Help me. Dozens of hands reached out, relentlessly trying to pull him into the abyss. Help me. Help me. Help me, Captain. Help. Help. He panicked as the grotesque hands grabbed him. Back in reality, Hyun-guk remained frozen in that position, as if time stood still. The young man's eyes regained focus. Clarity returned. His hand loosened its grip as a dangerous warning appeared. Despair and rage surged within the caster's mind, reaching a critical point. As dark energy swelled, Hyun-guk roared ferociously. A system update notification chime. Congratulations. You have met the requirements to unlock the hidden attribute of the item. Hyun-guk suddenly erupted with a violent burst of green energy, blasting away the surrounding beasts. Flames blazed fiercely. Powerful energy converging around Hyun-guk. Infernal demon medallion obtained. Hidden attribute. Hellfire status. Activated when a user's dark energy reaches its limit. Will burn until dark energy is completely depleted. He stood silently, brimming with power. Carol gasped, Hellfire, even for a vampire. In all my battles, I've never witnessed such terrifying power. Something unnatural is happening here. First, I must find a way to escape this place. But before he could act, a flash of emerald light sliced through his leg. Hyun-guk had commanded the razor-sharp spear. The young man calmly reached out and caught the newly summoned weapon. Carol clutched his leg and screamed in agony. Hyun-guk's eyes blazed with a terrifying light. He looked like a supreme deity, holding the power of life and death in his hands. Meanwhile, lost in a delirious haze, Hyun-guk was thrashing desperately. He reached up as if pleading for salvation. He was being dragged down into the abyss by the people around him. He told himself he had to wake up, but his face was submerged beneath the icy water. His lifeless eyes stared upward, trying to reassure himself. If he were pulled into this vortex, he would be completely consumed by darkness. Back in reality, Hyun-guk seemed to regain his composure, determined to assess the situation. He told himself, I can't let this continue. Suddenly, Karen unleashed a massive magic circle in the sky. With crimson wings spread behind her, she launched an attack toward him, screaming furiously, You arrogant fool, I'll tear you to shreds. Silken threads formed a web, ensnaring Hyun-guk, launching a relentless assault. He immediately unleashed a powerful surge of energy, shielding himself with a solid stance. Hyun-guk held his ground, unwavering. Suddenly, a barrage of silken threads shot towards him like a storm. The ground shattered into fragments, debris flying everywhere, leaving nothing untouched. Hyun-guk braced himself against two large rocks. From within the fissure, A surge of emerald green energy suddenly erupted, incinerating the web. Witnessing this, she gasped in horror. He burned my web, covered in blood. He pointed at her. A wooden stake, imbued with spiritual energy, hovered and spun around him. It shot towards Carol and impaled her in the back. She stumbled and fell, losing her balance. Hyun-guk seized the opportunity, swinging his spear and delivering a decisive, fatal blow. The magic circle shattered into pieces. Immediately, he resumed his fighting stance. His eyes glowed with a brilliant blue, filled with power and determination. He had to defeat her. Carol gritted her teeth in utter frustration. She realized she couldn't defeat him with brute force alone. The clash between them was incredibly fierce. Even onlookers could see the thick smoke and dust rising. Bok Joon-mo immediately shouted an order. "Hurry, go find a first elder." Then he added, "Sergeant Choi, Lieutenant and Sergeant Lee Hyun-guk are fighting for their lives, teetering on the edge of death. We have to do everything we can." With that, all three of them rushed forward and discovered a statue with a grotesque face. Sergeant Park Junmo exclaimed in astonishment, "I found the progenitor." Within seconds, the three of them surrounded the progenitor. "You can speak now. Everyone, get your sacred weapons and prepare the C4. He then turned to Minji and asked, "We need your shield. Can you hold them off?" Minji replied with a determined gaze and a resolute voice, "Everyone is risking their lives out there. I'll fight until my last breath." Junmo, hearing this, frowned slightly and hesitated for a moment. Immediately, Minji placed her shield next to the progenitor, and together they combined their strength to push against it. Junmo yelled, "Deploy the sacred shield. Do you hear me? We must join forces and destroy the primordial. Everyone, focus all your power and drive the sword deep into the primordial behind it." The man wielding the thunder hammer spoke up. "I will amplify the holy sword's power with." Junimo, gripping his weapon tightly, continued, "The might of the thunder god and the explosive force of the sea attached to my shield. It will help the sword destroy this relic. But if we can't withstand the shockwave, we'll all be blown to pieces." He bellowed the order. Suddenly, a colossal hand emerged from the dimensional gate, lunging straight towards the three of them. Everyone gritted their teeth, struggling to hold their ground. The hand instantly grabbed all three, sending them tumbling backward. In a flash, the rest of the creature's head materialized, revealing sharp teeth and three terrifying horns. A brillant purple aura radiated a menacing ferocity. The creature slowly emerged, its massive form astonishing. A suit of armor, hard as steel, encased its massive body. It was the terrifying monster, the giant demon armor boss. It opened its jaws wide and let out an earth-shattering roar. The air grew thick with tension. Two fierce battles raged simultaneously. One was a fiery confrontation between Lee Hyun-juk and Karen. In the distance, the giant demon armor boss blocked the path of the remaining three. She glanced towards the monster, her brow furrowed in thought. "That damn lunatic. He has no other choice now. We have to abandon BAP and destroy the progenitor." She glanced at him, thinking to herself, "That way, he won't be able to get BAP and escape this madness. And the rest, the giant demon armor boss will take care of in an instant." With that, Karen flew towards the giant demon armor boss. Immediately after, Hyun-juk jumped up and chased after her. She yelled, "Giant demon armor boss, destroy the progenitor now." Hearing the call, the monster immediately turned its head towards the sound. It seemed to have received its command. The colossal demon armor suddenly raised its sharp axe, preparing for a devastating blow. The three of them struggled to defend themselves. The first ancestor witnessed the scene in utter terror. Hyun-guk was now only a few meters away from her. Karen immediately channeled all her inner strength into an arrow aimed directly at him. The distance between them rapidly closed. She thrust the arrow forward with all her might, screaming, "Get away from me, you disgusting wretch." The arrow hurtled towards Hyun-guk with terrifying force. Without hesitation, he raised his weapon and unleashed a powerful counterattack. Instantly, the arrow reversed its course. Karen narrowed her eyes, tracking the arrow's trajectory, and swiftly moved. The powerful impact sent him flying towards the colossal demon armor. As she ran, she watched the arrow heading straight for her. Now Karen was caught between a rock and a hard place. The situation was dire, with no way out. Meanwhile, on the ground, the colossal demon armor was swinging its axe, wreaking havoc on the first ancestor. The three of them held their ground, unyielding. Simultaneously, they dropped low, determined to defend their position. Karen's eyes widened in horror. He threw it back at us. In a flash, Winguk lunged forward, shielding Karen while unleashing a devastating attack from behind. At that very moment, an arrow screamed towards them from the front. The arrow pierced through all three of them, flying straight towards the giant armored demon. An earth-shattering explosion erupted. The three struggled amidst the thick smoke and dust, their pained groans echoing. Karen slammed against a large tree trunk. A deep wound from the recent fatal blow bled profusely on his body. Karen coughed up blood, his face contorted in agony. Winguk staggered to his feet, his body trembling. An arrow was lodged squarely in his chest. Without hesitation, Winguk gritted his teeth and ripped the arrow out. Witnessing this, Ah chuckled derisively. "Kiki, you fools!" Karen roared in fury. "You were supposed to let us destroy the progenitor. You've single-handedly ruined the only chance to end your rampage." Ignoring the accusations, Hyunguk approached, grasping the fossilized eye necklace on her chest. He ripped it away from Carol's body with a sharp tug. Carol screamed in agony, continuously cursing. "You will pay. You will become a bloodthirsty monster, forever lost in a thirst for death. The comrades you once mourned, they will despise you when they see you covered in blood." She looked at Hyunguk, who raised the arrow, her voice breaking. "Tell me, how will it feel when those you love turn their backs on you?" Without hesitation, Hyunguk plunged the arrow into Carol's chest. A blue flame erupted, consuming Carol in an inferno. Her piercing scream echoed throughout the space. Before completely vanishing, Carol gave a sinister smile, her voice filled with venom. "I will watch you from hell and witness your gruesome death." Hyunguk remained silent, his eyes coldly watching her ashes. Then he uttered a single word, "Burn." Amidst the dark night, a mystical purple light suddenly appeared, intertwined with brilliant golden rays that burned fiercely. Suddenly, a voice called out as Ryu Hyunguk materialized in the middle of space. Three figures were straining with all their might, trying to pull him from the depths of a dark ocean. In that very moment, Hyunguk's eyes flew open and he gasped, taking a deep breath as he returned to reality. He realized he was still standing there, witnessing the horrifying scene before him. Karen was being consumed by a raging fire, an inferno of terrifying heat. At the same time, the primordial being shattered into fragments after the fierce battle. The system announced, "The primordial being has been completely destroyed. The area of evil here has been purged." A mysterious voice echoed throughout the space. "You dare say that my comrades would abandon me?" Hyunguk's face appeared, tiny fragments beginning to fly off. He returned to his original form. His eyes shone with unwavering confidence and a radiant, victorious smile. "No, they risked their lives to save me, just as I would not hesitate to do for them." He recalled the moment he was in the deep forest. He gripped the grotesque eye tightly in his hand. Hyunguk quickly scanned his surroundings, then brought the eye to his mouth in a silent gesture. "Support team, report survivor status. Strike team, moving quickly." A voice called out, "Corporal Bak Junmo. Bak Sungmo is still alive, and Minji is injured. Sergeant Lee Hyunguk, are you all right?" Seeing his comrades, relief washed over him. A sudden notification appeared. "Congratulations. You have used the relic of the fallen angel, Gregory Azazel. It has an unknown effect after absorption. Mission completion message sent. Brothers, inform everyone. We're done. Primary target eliminated. Quickly regroup with the platoon leader. The boss monster will awaken soon." Suddenly, he coughed up a mouthful of blood. The soldier saw him writhing in pain and turned to ask Sergeant Ryu Hyunguk, "What's wrong, sir?" Hyunguk suddenly recalled the moments when his body had been uncontrollably corrupted. "Damn it," he thought. "Could it be that I've pushed myself too hard?" On the other side of the forest, the boss monster suddenly rose up and roared ferociously. Hyunguk gripped his spear tightly. He brandished his weapon and yelled, "Support team, evacuate this area immediately." The monster slammed its fist into the ground, attempting to attack Hyunguk. Seeing this, Jun-mo dashed forward with lightning speed. He glared at the monster, focusing his energy. Indestructible diamond body. Just then, a notification popped up. "Warning, user's body cannot withstand this power. Indestructible diamond body activation denied." Hyunguk was surprised. Denied? He cursed himself. "Damn it. Can't I even stop this monster?" The monster's blade was now at Hyanguk's throat. Yuan Montauk screamed in terror. Sergeant Lee. He squeezed his eyes shut, bracing for the inevitable. The sharp blade plunged down, embedding itself deep into the ground. The impact triggered a massive explosion. Nothing happened. Hyanguk cautiously opened his eyes. He was astonished to find the blade hadn't touched him. Suddenly, a ferocious tiger lunged, pouncing on the monster. Its sharp teeth clamped down on the creature's grotesque face. With a mighty effort, the tiger ripped the monster's head clean off. Blood sprayed everywhere. Hyanguk and the squad were stunned by the gruesome scene. A helicopter appeared above the tiger. The door opened and a man jumped out. A tall, powerful man landed with a commanding presence. He slowly rose to his feet. Kim Kanye's face, though stern, was filled with concern as he checked if everyone was all right. Junimo, seeing him, broke into a wide smile and shouted, "Battalion Commander, Hyanguk did something with his spear. Message incoming. Congratulations on defeating the zombie boss monster, the giant armored demon from the haunted campus event. This ferocious tiger is Kim Jianyuke's guardian beast, named San Wang." Jianyuke anxiously looked around. Fortunately, he wasn't too late. The stone statue suddenly crumbled, two strange blue lights shooting out and taking the statue's eyes. A commanding voice boomed, accompanied by heavy footsteps approaching. Sergeant Lee Hyanguk appeared. "I heard that. You were granted access to the battalion's armory." He continued, his voice laced with surprise. "But I didn't expect you to bring the entire arsenal with you." Hyanguk then held up two medals, the two precious gems just taken from the statue's eyes. He hastily shoved both medals into his mouth, completely ignoring Jianyuke's calls. "It seems this terrorist attack is connected to the battalion. The incident has been handled. Give me a situation report. Incoming transmission. Latest update. Congratulations on successfully absorbing the Demon Legion medallion. It carries an as-yet unidentified effect." After completing the absorption, Hyun-gu stood at attention. He offered a sharp military salute. "Sir, the terrorist attack targeting the 1st Battalion of the Level 3 Monster Defense Force was a coordinated assault carried out by 5 players." Hyun-gu recalled the testimony of the imprisoned vampire, Aaron, and relayed the events. 4 of the 5 attackers were eliminated. The remaining one is currently in custody. Choi Jong-jun was speechless. He stood frozen, staring at the carnage, bodies lying in pools of blood. Regaining his composure, Hyun-gu continued his report. "During this incident, a significant number of high-ranking military officers went missing." Jong-jun clenched his jaw, his eyes anxiously scanning the ominous sky. Unha gasped for air, trying to catch her breath after the fierce battle with the monster. "We need to quickly assess the damage and casualties of the regular troops." She brushed the sweat-soaked strands of hair away from her face. Hyun-guk hesitantly spoke up. "However, all the remaining monsters are expected to be swiftly eliminated by the battalion." He finished his situation report. "Therefore, as of 6:37 a.m., we officially announced that the battalion's counterterrorism operation has been a complete success." The sun slowly rose above the horizon, its warm rays falling upon the town of Kong, still shrouded in the morning mist. Suk smiled with satisfaction, looking towards Hyun-guk. "Your report always contains the information I want to hear." He bolted upright, his face etched with surprise. "Wait, so it's all over?" Junimo looked up, noticing something unusual, and asked, "But shouldn't the sun have risen by now?" He then raised his hand and pointed towards the sky. "Why is the night still so dark?" Suddenly, Hyun-guk spoke, catching the attention of Kong Suk, the battalion commander. He then confessed, "Unfortunately, you're going to hear a report you won't like." Hearing this, Kong Suk was taken aback, raising an eyebrow slightly. Hyun-guk recounted the scene of the dragon breathing devastating fire, incinerating everything in its path. "Based on a number of spatial gates near Seoul, since I took command, fires have been breaking out everywhere, along with the ongoing fight against the undead." He continued, "It seems the battalion terrorist attack and the nightmare complex incident were just the beginning. Under the dark night sky, speckled with stars, the Seoul toll gates suddenly descended into chaos. Endless lines of cars were jammed in a massive traffic pileup, causing panicked people to abandon their vehicles and flee. Based on these events, my dear brothers, their true objective is to initiate the 4th wave of disaster, the one humanity has always dreaded. A colossal black dome, a harbinger of doom, has appeared above the earth, looming behind ominous clouds. He emphasized that the starting point of this catastrophe is right here, Seoul. The system then provided an explanation. This is the most devastating wave of disaster in this game. Monsters will surge in like a raging tsunami, invading human habitats, swallowing the seas whole, transforming this land into a completely different hell, a completely alien world through utter annihilation. Unlike previous unfortunate events, this area is completely sealed off, completely isolated, with no way in or out. Sungamo, Junimo, and Aminti were horrified by this news, their jaws dropping in shock. Gasiok roared in anger. So they had a different plan from the very beginning. He turned to look at his teammates, then immediately ordered, "All soldiers, return to your battalions and prepare for immediate reassembly. Lee Hyung-guk, you will be responsible for preparing everything for the reassembly process." Lee Hyung-guk's entire body trembled uncontrollably. Noticing his unusual behavior, Kong Seok worriedly asked Lee Hyung-guk. A sudden warning announcement blared. "You are in the process of absorbing the Devil's Legion Medallion. A signal core is being formed within your central nervous system. This process may be accompanied by intense pain. With your current physical condition, you will have difficulty enduring this pain." Hyung-guk suddenly collapsed to the ground. Kong Seok and Jun Mo exclaimed in panic. "Lee Hyung-guk, what's wrong? Sergeant Lee Hyung-guk, wake up." Hyung-guk writhed in agony, but in his subconscious, he vaguely heard someone calling him, "Sergeant Lee Hyun-woo, Lee Hyun-woo." Lee Hyun-woo was suddenly pulled back to the past. John Jun raised his hand to ask Captain Lee Hyun-woo a question. "How can you be certain that the fifth wave will begin in Busan?" Everyone turned towards him, listening intently. Hearing John Jun's question, Hyun-woo began to explain. The answer was surprisingly simple. He recounted what he had witnessed in California during the first wave, a desolate wasteland with 2 ferocious dragons wreaking havoc. Next was the second wave in Shanghai, a horde of hideous monsters with eyes full of greed and bloodlust, ready to destroy everything. The third wave hit Berlin. At the bottom of the deep ocean, a desolate castle appeared. Finally, the fourth wave in Seoul, Gyeongbokgung Palace, was burned down in a sea of fire. A teammate controlled the screen, analyzing the details. The only commonality between the areas hit by the monster waves was the frequency of high-level gates appearing in neighboring areas had spiked 3 months before each wave hit. They're marshaling all their forces, preparing for an all-out assault. Meanwhile, Manhwa says dejectedly, "All right, fine. Let's say we find the source of these deluges. Then what? Those monsters will still be out there, blocking our path. What then? We're almost out of supplies and equipment." Hyung-guk growls in frustration. "They're incredibly powerful, and they're armed with weaponry far superior to ours. During the fourth deluge, we were only able to repel them by using the divine weapon, Still Time. So many lives were lost for that victory." He continues, "Countless heroes sacrificed themselves, like Lee Sang-jaeun, Han Tae-san, Choi Jong-cheon, Kim Gang-suk, and Steve Marine." He grits his teeth. "Those bastards are incredibly dangerous. They have the power to create disasters, these so-called deluges." Hyun-guk was lost in memories of the ruthless beings who destroyed the city. The leader was none other than the cruel Juna. Rage surged within him as he gritted his teeth. They possess the ability to generate devastating energy waves, slaughtering humans without mercy to gain experience and collect 10 trophies. That reward will make them exponentially more powerful. Suddenly, he slammed his fist on the table and roared with indignation. "But things are different now. We will no longer sit idly by and suffer. We know their next target." Hyun-guk looked around, his sharp gaze sweeping over each person, his voice becoming calm but powerful. "Instead of cowering in fear and letting them manipulate us, we will proactively prepare and counterattack." He furrowed his brow, his eyes as determined as steel. "With enough resolve, we will have the strength to act, to protect humanity from those bloodthirsty villains." Lee Hyun-guk's past began to unfold. A freezing winter night with howling winds. At the last resistance base, a refuge for the survivors, a lone figure appeared, slowly walking forward. A man in a fighting stance issued a wary warning. "Hands up! Don't move! Take off your hood!" The thief in the yellow coat flashed a bright smile, murmuring something. Suddenly, the door burst open. Unha rushed in, breathlessly asking, "Brother Ri, what in the world has happened?" Her expression quickly turned to worry. She continued, "Why have you brought an outsider here? At such a critical time? I warned you." never to do this. Brother Guk quickly reassured her. Calm down, sister, don't worry. I can vouch for him. We need him. If he hadn't risked his life to help us, we wouldn't have made it back alive. He's our comrade, just like you and me. The sudden sound of the door opening startled him. Brother Guk exclaimed joyfully, "Ah, you've arrived. Welcome." He rushed to express his gratitude. "Thank you for coming. My sincere thanks for honoring us with your presence." Brother Guk quickly introduced him. "This is Gordon Brazil. He comes from elsewhere." The atmosphere of the party was lively with the clinking of glasses. A woman with vibrant orange hair offered Orihan a friendly compliment. "Your son is truly remarkable. This time, the material you provided was incredibly rare. Thanks to it, we've created a true masterpiece." Gordon replied with a satisfied tone, "That's wonderful." However, curiosity bubbled up inside him. "But what exactly did you create this time?" The woman was Bexiol, a master blacksmith, chosen by 7 dwarf artisans to lead them. She countered playfully, Why do you ask?" A flicker of suspicion crossed her eyes. "Gordon, are you a traitor?" He quickly waved his hands in denial. "What? No, I'm just curious." The image of a spider diligently spinning its web mirrored Gordon's inner turmoil. Bexiol spoke sincerely. "I know you're just joking. Who would ever think our esteemed mayor is a traitor?" She winked playfully. "I'd love to tell you, but I can't. You understand, right?" He chuckled nervously, his face tense. "Yes, haha." Then he subtly glanced towards Bexiol,